I am a 24-year-old male and a bit overweight. I have been on a fitness journey for about a month and a half. To be honest, I never thought of this until today. I was in the store Walmart buying a few groceries and decided I would check out the weights because I want to purchase some. I approached the aisle, and there was a super fit athletic guy also browsing the same section. I politely waited at a distance, pretending to look at something else until he moved on. While standing there, I noticed that he seemed to be evaluating the contents in my cart. He looked at me, half smiled, and walked off. I may be overthinking the situation, but it made me slightly uncomfortable. For my peace of mind, to all of the fit and athletic guys out there, what would go through your mind? Would you judge? Do you care? What is the thought process? Story 1. Same thing as when I see an overweight person start at my gym. Good for them. Everybody starts somewhere, and you are both trying to improve yourselves. There is no shame in that. Story 2. If I cared or looked at all, which is very unlikely, it would be good for that person for making changes, then forget about you. No offense. Story 3. I could not care less, to be honest. I have never concerned myself with what other people have in their carts. Story 4. I've never looked at an overweight person trying to better themselves and thought, pathetic. If anything, 9 out of 10 times it is the fit people who are cheering you on, because we all know it takes hard work and dedication to change your situation. I can't help but think, heck yes, when I see someone trying. Story 5. I am in extremely good shape for my age. I have visible abdominal muscles at 43 and lots of good muscle definition. I am not bulky, but I am lean and muscular. When I see out-of-shape people, women or men, buying health food, running, jogging, or walking while wearing their workout gear, without fail, every time, I think, yes, I was approaching my highest weight ever not too long ago, after years of treating my body poorly. In my 20s, I took really good care of myself, but depression and undiagnosed attention deficit hyperactivity disorder got the better of me in my late 30s. So, I have experience with that struggle. My heart goes out to anyone I see actually trying to put in the good work. I think it's beyond awesome to see. I care very much. It's inspiring to me. I love seeing other people trying to become the best version of themselves. My hope is that when someone who is trying to get into better shape sees me out in public, the work I have put into myself can be a similar inspiration. If the person you saw in Walmart is anything like me, they got a jolt of feel-good brain energy from seeing you trying to be a better you. I know I would. Story 6. Proud of you, man. I also think this when I see overweight people soaked in sweat from just walking on the treadmill at the gym. Clearly, that is hard for them. He could be sitting on the couch at home eating unhealthy food. Instead, he is here sweating a lot. I respect how hard it is to make a change, and I am proud of them for doing it. Story 7. I take care of myself. When I see someone like you described making the effort, I am inclined to give a well-meaning and encouraging nod at a minimum. Story 8. If I noticed, and it is not likely since I am not the judgmental type, but I am a heavy guy too, I would just think, good for you, and move on with my life. Your fitness journey is yours and should be just for you. Do not stress. Story 9. Man, to be honest, forget what anyone else thinks. Everyone has their flaws. Be a monster in the gym or wherever you work out. Stay consistent, and in a year, you can let us know how you feel when you see someone in the shoes you once wore. Story 10. I don't really think about other people that much. I am too busy wondering what others think about me, which of course they do not. This is something I have learned as I have grown older. Story 11. I am definitely not looking at anyone else's cart. I am probably just trying to get done with chores as soon as possible. That being said, as a general rule of thumb, I would never look down on anyone for trying to improve their life. Story 12. About half the muscular men in any given gym used to be overweight until they decided to commit seriously to working out. They are usually very understanding and supportive of anyone trying to improve their health. Story 13. The less processed food and more raw food, vegetables, and meat get sold, the more money I make indirectly. I always look at other people's carts and am happy if they help me become wealthier by living healthily. Good for everyone. Story 14. I was once a very fit police officer, And now I am a father aging past 40. I would think nothing of it. However, if I am honest, I would probably feel guilty and think, man, I need to get back to it too. Story 15. I cannot imagine the last time I noticed what someone else was buying. The only things anyone would notice are if you were buying something like condoms, a cucumber, lubricant, and nothing else. Story 16. Honestly, I would think more of an overweight man stocking up on chips and soda, fueling his addiction. Story 17. I think the most likely reason for a smile is to offer positive encouragement. If he said something, he might feel awkward for making assumptions. Either way, that is why I would smile at you for putting in more effort than most. Story 18. You are reading way too much into it. Most people are willing to welcome you into the group unless they are not someone you want anything to do with. Story 19. Personally, I'm always happy to see people adopt fitness and healthier habits. I certainly would not make a big deal of it like that person did, but I would be happy for that individual internally. Yes, I do notice when obese people have a cart full of healthy foods, and I assume they are embarking on a new journey. Story 20. As a man, I probably will not care, and if I do care, I will think hell yeah and wish that person the best. Story 21. When I was 24, I was very self-conscious about many things. Now, I don't let things affect me as much, and with age, you will feel the same way. It doesn't matter what other people think at the end of the day. Just be yourself. You will most likely never see that person again, so whether they judged you or not, who cares? Story 22. You never know someone's story. I am one of those fit guys now but was overweight as a child. Most people truly do not care what is in your cart, and on the 1 in 1,000 chance that I do care, I love seeing someone prioritize their health whether they are already fit or morbidly obese. Story 23. I used to be overweight, but I am not overweight anymore. I was the overweight person buying healthy foods and gym clothes a year ago. I am happy when I see people starting their fitness journey. I notice it these days because I was in your shoes once. Do not worry about what other people think of you. That is a big part of shifting from the overweight to fit mentality. Story 24. Either I do not care or I think good on him. Fitness and health are a journey, and we all have to start somewhere. Story 25. I think, speaking as someone who has been in your position, they would look at you favorably and possibly give you words of encouragement. I know it helped me when I received positive comments for buying healthy foods or exercising. Story 26. I do not think anything. I am too busy with my life, but I guess it is good for him to make an effort to be healthy. Story 27. The only time I have ever noticed someone's shopping cart was when they had 72 cans of Stella and a 16-pack of toilet roll. That is in over 23 years of shopping for myself, and the only reason is that it was a purchase that stands out and the dad jokes write themselves. For someone to see you, watch your size, and then be nosy enough to evaluate your shopping trolley and respond, even if just facially, sounds a bit irrational to be honest. Story 28. I am not model fit, but I am in good shape. When I see a heavier man doing that stuff, I honestly feel proud of him. I was a huge 300-pound man a while back and worked hard to get where I am now. I wish I could say something encouraging to those other men, but I am afraid that rather than feeling good, they would feel like the compliment was based on them being out of shape and make them feel self-conscious. I have nothing but the most positive respect for men making those efforts. Story 29. Guys, do not judge others who are trying to get in shape. When we see someone doing their best to improve, we think, good for him. And many even offer to help. You are overthinking this. Story 30. I literally pay zero attention to what random people are doing, so I would think nothing. If I did somehow notice, I would just think, there is a person buying things they want to buy. Story 31. Been there myself. The hardest steps are the first ones. I would be thinking, respect, brother. Hit those weights and change your life. Story 32. The only people I would ever judge are overweight individuals with a cart full of candy and junk food accompanied by severely overweight children. One of my neighbors feeds their kids nothing but Mountain Dew, ice cream, and Oreos. A 10-year-old should not weigh around 200 pounds. Honestly, nobody cares. Everyone is too busy worrying about themselves to judge what is in your shopping cart. Story 33. 99.9% of people either do not care or are happy that someone is making healthy choices. The last 0.1% are unpleasant individuals who are not worth worrying about. Story 34. I am assuming that he is trying to improve his health and give him a respectful nod. Seriously, good luck. Story 35. For the same reason, I would not judge someone out of work at a job interview. I would not judge a less healthy person making steps to become healthier. Story 36. I was not there, but I think you might have misjudged the situation. He may have smiled as in good for you, not in a negative way but in a positive way. Second, do not buy weights at Walmart. Get them used, and if you are just starting out, work on bodyweight exercises with full range of motion. Story 37. Normally, I do not notice as I tend to mind my own business. If I did notice by chance, I would think kudos to them for getting healthy. Story 38. Nothing. Why would I think about you, brother? You do you. I have my own things going on. Respect for trying, though. Story 39. I don't think they would react, and I wouldn't react either. I would hardly notice. When I am shopping, I am in and I am out. We do not window shop around these parts. Story 40. Great question. When I was young and judgmental, between 18 and 24 years old, I would think dumb things like about time. Then I became more mature, grew up a bit, and applauded in my brain. At the gym, if I see someone new or clearly just starting their fitness journey, I literally smile and say, good set or great job. Often, because they are new and nervous, they will tell me that and we start a conversation. I always introduce myself, shake their hand, and say congratulations and welcome to the gym. I look forward to seeing you all here. Story 41. I'm glad they are looking to improve their health and fitness. I was in their shoes a few years ago when I was out of shape and overweight. I hope they are successful. Story 42. Some think, good for him. Others think, why do I care? And a few think, laugh out loud. Okay, fatty. None of these opinions matter because they are not living your life. You are. Story 43. Oddly enough, I stare into other people's grocery carts all the time for recommendations. I can't recall ever looking at the actual person. But if they have multiples of a single item that is not on sale, I go check it out, thinking to myself, is it really that good? Story 44. If I think about it, it is along the lines of, this person is getting their life together. Good for them. Story 45. Let me ask you this. What do you think when you see a skinny guy buying protein powder or candy bars? Nothing, because no one cares about what someone else is shopping for. Story 46. My thoughts have always been along the lines of, hope they have a workout buddy, because it is easier to maintain the routine when others are involved, or, good on you, brother. I do not care about the circumstances. Exercise is good, period. Story 47. You have to start somewhere. Try not to worry about the opinions of people whom you will never see again. Story 48. I look at the person and then I look at their cart. If they eat clean, I am appreciative because it shows effort. If I see 95% sugar-based foods and 5% clean foods, I classify them as unhealthy, depressed, lacking discipline, or unable to deal with stress. Story 49. Proud because I have been in their situation. Seeing them push past their bubble and comfort zone is a milestone they should take pride in, as did I. Story 50. I believe that everyone is living their own life. I used to be overweight as well. That is how you change. Story 51. I have genuinely never focused on what someone else was buying long enough to form an opinion on it. I am simply trying to get in and get out. Remember, people are far too focused on their own lives to worry about yours. Story 52. I don't concern myself with anyone else in general, but if for some reason I notice someone and have them on my radar, I would do exactly what that individual did. Smile and move on. It sounds rude, but it is not, I swear. It is just the truth. Nobody with a life of their own to worry about cares about others unless they have to. Recognizing and acknowledging another individual nearby is standard human behavior. You are definitely overthinking. That person did not care about what you were buying, your story, or your intentions. unless, of course, you posed a threat in that moment. He forgot about you the moment he walked away. Story 53. I always tell new people at the gym that the only person watching you is yourself unless you are about to crush your chest on the bench press. Story 54. The vast majority of people who are into fitness like to see others attempting to better themselves and are very likely to be encouraging of your fitness journey. To answer your question directly, my personal thoughts are always a sincere good for you. People more likely to be negatively judgmental are other overweight individuals exhibiting crab in the bucket syndrome. Story 55. When I used to be fit, I would be happy for him. Accepting that you want or need to change is hard, but actually taking action is even harder. Story 56. Most people do not care, or at least do not care that much. However, it is always the loud minority or the bad experiences that stick with us. Story 57. Every fit, muscular, or truly healthy male or female was once new and nervous walking into the grocery store. I support every person making positive life changes in the grocery store and gym. Most gym enthusiasts are very helpful and great people. If we are not super focused on a set or have earphones in, come talk to us or ask for advice. I have been approached a few times and always offer advice, even if it is just a brief 6-minute conversation. The ones who are usually negative are seasonal gym goers who are there just to impress their girlfriends they bring with them. Story 58. They have had enough of their current lifestyle and want to make a positive change for themselves. Story 59. Anytime I see someone overweight or out of shape working on themselves, I cheer them on in my head. I used to be in your shoes. Story 60. I'm always happy to see people investing in themselves. As men, we are often most afraid of social situations, which is why we avoid them so often. So pat yourself on the back. There are plenty of people giving in to social anxiety or shame and using that as an excuse not to go. For what it's worth, I learned most of my paranoia, anxiety, and shame about my body came from my mom. A trip to a communal gym shower will dispel any notions you have about what a man should look like. Also, there are dedicated gym goers who are there daily for hours and still have a tummy. It's genetic for most of us. We have the six-pack and the cooler. Story 61. Chads have a bad reputation. However, every fitness enthusiast I have ever met is exceedingly kind and open to sharing what has helped them. Story 62. Generally, no one cares. If you have been into fitness for a long time, you might feel like asking others if they need any help. Otherwise, you are out of mind as soon as you are out of sight. Story 63. I think it is respectable for people to put in the work to become healthier. I understand that many overweight individuals feel embarrassed when trying to get into fitness. Although they may not be able to do as much as others when it comes to exercise, it does not mean they are not putting in the same or even more effort during workouts. You can often tell by observing if they are exerting themselves. I try to encourage this, as being overweight is very unhealthy and leads to serious health risks. Someone might feel mostly fine or have only minor issues for a while until something serious happens unexpectedly. I lost a friend when he was 32 due to obesity-related health issues. He suffered a heart attack. I was into fitness at that time and often invited him to exercise with me. He stopped when I moved away. I know it was not my fault, but I often wonder what might have happened if I had stayed and kept him motivated to exercise. Story 64. Brother, I went to the gym alone one day as a skinny twig. 6 feet 1 inch, 150 pounds. I was shy and embarrassed and had trouble lifting barely any weight on the bench press. This Frank Castle-looking dude asks me if I want a spot. I say no. He says, "Look, man, I know you're nervous because you're new here. Look around. Nobody cares about you. Everyone is obsessed with themselves." Wow, that really helped me. It honestly taught me how to be a good gym patron and buddy to others. If you're not hurting anyone, forget anyone who is rude to you. Story 65. If I gave it a second thought, I would probably think good on you for trying to get fit. But I probably would not get that far in thinking about it. I do not usually look at what other people are buying. Story 66. I don't care if I see a bigger person trying to improve themselves or whatever. When I'm walking on a park trail, I sometimes encounter these people. I don't judge anyone unless the person is being rude. At first glance, sure, we all know the deal, people want to lose weight and so on. But honestly, I'm usually just focused on myself in public, and so are my thoughts. I'm not analyzing the other person. My mind is basically blank. Story 67. I only judge morbidly obese individuals when it involves an entire family and a 5-year-old has a 44-ounce soda or juice in their hand. Story 68. They think you are doing a good job and are proud of you. Almost universally, very fit people are kind and supportive of those trying to get fit, especially because they were once in the same situation. Story 69. We are thinking about what we like. Sorry, friend. Not everything is about you. Just kidding. There is no way they notice. And if they do, the first word to describe them should be unpleasant, not attractive. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.